In the effort to try to get healthy, a lot of times people forget one really important nutrient from their diet: fat. Okay, now for years we were taught that fat was terrible, that we should leave out fat, we should go fat free, and now we know that that was completely the wrong thing to do. Okay, fat is an absolutely essential nutrient. It's part of every single cell in our body. The outside of every single cell is made of fat. And when we don't have healthy fats, we substitute unhealthy fats, which makes our cells unhealthy. All right, so we want to make sure that we have good amounts of the right healthy fats in our diet. So primarily, two of the essential fats that we need the most are omega-6 and omega-3. Now, unfortunately, we usually get a lot more omega-6 than the omega-3. And we used to get 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 from our natural diet, eating animals that were eating grass and eating each other, and fishing and eating vegetables and plants that were grown in nature with natural fertilizers and natural sunlight and natural rain and irrigation water. All of these things had healthy sources of omega-6s and omega-3s in the ratios we needed to develop a normal brain and a healthy body. Unfortunately, as food production has changed, as processed foods have become more abundant, as pressed oils have become more abundant for cooking, we've taken on a lot more of the omega-6s. To the point now, instead of being 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, we're 25-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. So what's the big deal? Why does this matter so much? Well, these omega-3s and omega-6s act in two separate pathways in our body. Omega-3s result in a bunch of substances that help with reducing inflammation in the body. Omega-6s, on the other hand, help with increasing inflammation in the body. Now wait a minute, inflammation, isn't that a bad thing? Well, no. In fact, inflammation can be a really helpful thing. If we have no inflammation, we'd never build muscle. If we had no inflammation, we wouldn't be able to fight infection. We wouldn't be able to heal injuries. So we have to have some inflammation, but it has to be balanced with anti-inflammation from the omega-3s. So we have to have both the omega-6s and the omega-3s in the right ratio. One of the biggest challenges is these two compete. So if you take too much of one, you may not absorb the other quite as well. So if you take way much more omega-6, then it competes with the omega-3s and you don't take it up as well and don't include it in your cells as well. All right, so when you look at statistics on deficiency in these, what most big doctor books and what most big research studies say is that deficiency is extremely rare in this. Well, until you start looking at what are the signs and symptoms of deficiency and how much are we actually getting in our diet, and the fact that we're getting so much more omega-6 than omega-3. All right, so we know we're getting way much more omega-6, so that puts us already into inflammation, and they're competitive, so you can only absorb the one that you have more of than the other. So if you're getting more omega-6s, you're going to absorb more of that, which pushes you towards more inflammation and less anti-inflammation. And now let's look at the symptoms. So what are the symptoms of deficiency in omegas? All right, so how about this? Dry skin, scaly skin, dry hair, brittle hair, unruly hair, dry cracked fingernails, dry eyes, dry mouth, let's see, dullness to your hair or your nails. How about these? Menstrual cramps, breast pain. Those are a couple of ones that are probably pretty common in a lot of ladies. Increased allergic symptoms, things like hives and hay fever, asthma, eczema. On the rise? Absolutely. A lot of kids have that. All right, and that starts almost from birth in a lot of kids because mom is deficient, she's not giving the kids enough in her breast milk, or she switches immediately to formula, the kids don't get enough in the formula, and then they're eating a diet that's poor in these omega-3s and omega-6s as well. All right, so other things, cravings for fat, Stiff or painful joints. That's another symptom of deficiency in these essential fats. Okay, hear about this one. Babies, cradle cap. That can be a symptom of deficiency in fat. And the adult version, dandruff. Okay, another symptom of deficiency in fat. Cracking fingertips, cracking heels. Those can also be symptoms of deficiencies in the essential fats. If you've ever noticed, if you've got little bumps on the back of your arm, that can also be a symptom of deficiency in fats. So we need to make sure that not only are we getting enough, okay, because a lot of times people aren't getting enough. People ignore the fat, they leave out the fat, they take the skin off of the chicken, they trim the meat, they're going fat-free milk, they're doing everything they can to eliminate fat from the diet, including going to some of the nut milks and so forth, which have very little nutrition in them as well, and they end up leaving out a lot of important fat from their diet. So what do? You want to add foods that are rich in omega-3s. You want to add back in a lot of the healthier meats that are from free-range chicken and beef that are going to have a higher percentage of omega-3s to omega-6s in there, even though the overall amount of fat is less than lot-raised beef or chicken, but it's got a higher ratio of omega-3 to omega-6. And then eating fish on a regular basis, supplementing with omega-3s on a regular basis are all important things to help boost that ratio back to normal of the 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio that we naturally need to keep our body in balance between inflammation and anti-inflammation, so we can do all the things our body was meant to be and get rid of all those symptoms of fat deficiency that we've all started showing up with over the last 50 years. Hope that helped. Check us out at silenceyourfatgene.com for more tips like this for my new book, Silence Your Fat Gene. And please like and share this video with your friends. And we'll see you at the next video.